Picture this. You are sitting alone in your kitchen, enjoying a quiet meal. You take a bite, you swallow, and in a split second, the world goes completely silent. A piece of food has jammed into your windpipe. You try to inhale, but nothing moves. You try to cough, but there is no air left in your lungs to push it out. Absolute panic hits. Your eyes glance around the room, but the reality is terrifying. There is no one there to save you. No one to perform the Heimlich Maneuver. No one to call 911. You have exactly 90 seconds before your brain shuts down from a lack of oxygen. What do? Most people do the exact wrong thing. They run in circles, gasp krampfhaft for air, and collapse. Today, we are changing that. I am giving you the exact, physics-backed protocol to safely pop that blockage out of your throat by yourself in less than 10 seconds. This is the one video that could literally save your life. Right now, thousands of people are sitting alone in their homes, eating a piece of meat, a dry slice of bread, or a simple piece of fruit, thinking everything is completely normal. But within a single second, their entire life changes. Breathing stops. A tiny piece of food blocks the windpipe. No air goes in, no air comes out. Absolute panic sets in. And the most dangerous part of this situation, you are completely alone. No partner, no neighbor, no one to come from behind and save your life. This is the exact moment when most people make the most fatal mistake of their lives. They run toward the front door in a panic, gasp krampfhaft for air, and lose consciousness. But it doesn't have to be this way. The critical question you must ask yourself today, before you sit down alone at the dining table tomorrow, is this. Do you know the exact physical technique to become your own lifesaver within the first 10 seconds? If you are serious about your health, your safety, and protecting your life as you age, subscribe to this channel right now. We don't do superficial advice here. We look at deep, science-backed facts that dictate life or death in a real emergency. And feel free to leave a comment telling me where you are watching from today. I read every single one and deeply appreciate this growing community of proactive individuals. Let's dive straight into the life-saving science. Most of the time, it happens completely out of nowhere. A cozy evening, the dinner tastes great, you are watching TV or reading a book. A brief distraction, a sudden cough reflex while swallowing, and tragedy strikes. Choking is one of the most underestimated dangers for individuals over 60 in geriatric medicine. But here's the part almost no one talks about. Why is choking so much more dangerous as we get older? And why do our body's natural defense mechanisms fail more frequently? It is not because you have become careless. It is because of a silent anatomical shift that creeps in after the age of 40. Over my years of medical observation, I have seen a pattern quietly repeat itself in older adults. They eat carefully, chew thoroughly, and avoid high-risk foods. Yet, a single moment of inattention is enough to completely cut off the airway. When you look past the symptoms and understand what happens inside the body during those first few seconds, the picture becomes crystal clear. Age itself isn't the enemy, but the complete lack of a rehearsed emergency strategy when you are alone is. To understand why choking rates rise so sharply after the age of 60, we have to look at a fascinating biological valve in our throat, the epiglottis. Every single time you swallow, this small flap of cartilage acts like a hydraulic safety valve, closing tightly over your windpipe to direct food safely down the esophagus. It is a perfect system that runs flawlessly for decades. However, as the body ages, tissue structures change dramatically. Scientific studies in geriatrics reveal that nerve conduction velocity in the pharyngeal area slows down by up to 20 to 30% after age 60. This means the signal that food is coming arrives at the epiglottis with a delayed response. The valve closes a split second too late. Simultaneously, the strength of the swallowing muscles declines, and tissue elasticity drops. When food accidentally slips into the windpipe, the body reacts with the most powerful reflex it possesses, the cough reflex. In a younger person, this reflex generates immense air pressure, expelling the foreign object like a projectile. But as we age, lung elasticity and the strength of the accessory respiratory muscles naturally decrease. The maximum expiratory cough pressure drops significantly. When a piece of food completely blocks the airway, a state known as a complete airway obstruction, your natural cough is often no longer strong enough. The surrounding tissue seals around the foreign object like a vacuum storage bag. This triggers an absolute metabolic crisis. The brain is instantly cut off from its oxygen supply. The heart begins to race under acute oxygen deprivation, and blood pressure spikes. Anyone who tries to desperately gasp for air at this moment will only pull the object deeper into the lungs due to the negative pressure. This is the biological trap of choking alone. When you are alone, there is no one to perform the classic Heimlich maneuver on you from behind. You must utilize the laws of physics and anatomy to generate the necessary internal pressure yourself. The principle here is pure pneumatics. We must compress the remaining volume of air trapped inside your lungs to create an explosive upward pressure wave that breaks the vacuum seal of the obstruction. A widespread but highly dangerous misconception is to throw yourself onto the floor randomly or hang upside down. In older adults, this often causes severe spinal injuries or accelerates unconsciousness due to sudden blood rushing to the head. Modern emergency medicine relies on a highly effective method known as the chair Heimlich maneuver. An analysis of self-rescue protocols published in the Journal of Emergency Medicine demonstrated that utilizing a solid, fixed edge can increase the survival rate of choking incidents during self-rescue by over 80%. To execute this method successfully, you must target the exact anatomical pressure point. It is not on your ribs, and it is not on your breastbone. The sweet spot is located precisely in the epigastrium, the soft triangle right below your sternum and directly above your belly button. This is where your diaphragm sits, the master respiratory muscle bounding the bottom of your lungs. When you drive this specific area with sudden maximum force against a firm, blunt edge, you push the diaphragm upward violently. This compresses the lungs and forces the trapped air upward like an explosion. This is your only mechanical chance to break the vacuum seal of the obstruction from the bottom up. Without this physical compression, the air remains trapped and the brain's oxygen countdown runs out. Here is the precise, clinically validated 3-step protocol you must execute immediately and without hesitation in an emergency. Memorize these steps as if your life depended on them, because it does. Step 1 is the cough stop and horizontal realignment. The moment you realize your airway is completely blocked and coughing yields no results, stop trying to gasp for air. Any attempt to inhale will pull the object deeper. Immediately bring your upper body into a completely horizontal position, parallel to the floor. You must turn gravity into your ally. When your head hangs lower than your chest, the physical weight of the obstruction works to loosen itself from the airway matrix. Step 2 is the chair edge compression, also known as the solo Heimlich. Instantly find a stable, rigid object. The ultimate rescue tools are the backrest of a heavy kitchen chair, the firm armrest of a sofa, or the edge of a solid kitchen counter. Position your soft epigastric triangle directly over the blunt edge. Grip the chair firmly with your hands to stabilize your balance, and drive your entire body weight downward and forward onto the edge in a sharp, explosive thrust. Repeat this intensive abdominal thrust up to 5 times. Step 3 is the ground impact, which is the last resort method. If no chair or counter is within immediate reach, execute the highly effective ground impact technique utilized by emergency first responders. Drop to your knees and support yourself on your forearms. Suddenly drive your arms straight out in front of you, letting your chest and abdomen slam completely flat against the hard floor. The sudden impact brutally compresses the thoracic cavity, forcing a massive pocket of air upward to throw the object out. Let's map out the exact timeline of these critical seconds. When you are alone, panic consumes massive amounts of cellular oxygen, meaning you must operate with the precision of a clock. In phase 1, during the first 5 seconds, focus on calm activation and a gravity shift. Do not panic. Do not try to speak, scream, or make noise. This wastes vital residual oxygen. Instantly bend your torso deep toward the ground. If you can still manage a tiny micro cough, do it exclusively while your head is pointing down. In phase 2, from seconds 5 to 15, use the chair backrest. If the object remains immovable, do not hesitate for a second. Spot your stable kitchen chair. Position your epigastrium over the backrest. Pain cannot be a factor in this moment. A bruised abdominal wall is a small price to pay for your life. Deliver short, sharp, violent downward thrusts. In phase 3, from seconds 15 to 30, use the ground impact. If the airway remains sealed after 5 thrusts, instantly switch to the ground impact method. Drop to your knees, fling your arms forward, and slam your body weight flat onto the floor. The mechanical shock wave traveling through the thorax is often the final key that releases the block. Once the object clears your throat, breathe in very slowly and shallowly so you don't accidentally inhale it back down. These emergency upgrades highlight a profound truth. Life after 60 demands a completely new relationship with our own anatomy. In our youth, we never thought about eating. We ate quickly, laughed while chewing, and talked mid-bite. Our bodies were incredibly forgiving. Our reflexes were lightning fast, and our muscles were strong enough to instantly reverse any mechanical error. But a biological body at 60 or 70 does not overlook these minor details anymore. Not because it is weak or failing, but because its design has evolved. Failing to update your daily habits to match your current physiology introduces an invisible daily risk. The biggest mistake is living under the assumption that this will never happen to you. True longevity and health optimization after 60 mean respecting the structural mechanics of your changing body and knowing exactly how to operate it when things go wrong. A blocked airway that isn't cleared within 2 minutes leads to an absolute catastrophe. It is entirely in your hands to close the gap between being unaware and being prepared. Imagine the absolute peace of mind you will experience sitting at the table tomorrow knowing this framework. You know exactly what to do. You are no longer vulnerable. You have reclaimed full control over your personal safety. That is what true resilience and autonomous independence in your later years look like. Being prepared, understanding biological laws, and executing calmly when it matters most. You now possess the life-saving knowledge that the vast majority of people never think about while eating. Share this video immediately with your friends, your family, and your loved ones. It isn't a light conversation topic, but it is one that actively saves lives. Thank you for watching this masterclass all the way through to the end. Staying informed is the ultimate key to a long, secure, and vibrant life. If you want more practical, deep dive health advice for life after 60, subscribe to the channel right now and turn on the notification bell. Please drop a rating from 1 to 10 in the comments below. Your direct feedback helps me build better, sharper, and more impactful guidance for you. Take care of yourself, respect your anatomy, and I will see you in the very next video.